Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Clueless Catalyst, where we discover interesting startups, interview founders, and help you become less clueless with angel investing. My name is Razi.
And my name's Osman, and welcome to the Clueless Catalyst.
In this episode, we are going to be looking at DrutoLoan. So, DrutoLoan is a lending platform connecting banks, microfinance institutions to micro SMEs looking for finance in Bangladesh. In a short span, they've given out 3,000 loans worth over 1.27 million US dollars. So joining us for this episode is the founder and CEO of DrutoLoan, Sadi. Welcome to the episode, Sadi.
Thank you, Razi bhai. Thank you, Osman bhai, for having me. I really appreciate it.
So we always like to start with the pitch deck. So why not you run us through your pitch deck?
Assalamualaikum, Razi bhai. Assalamualaikum, Osman bhai. Hello, this is Sadi from DrutoLoan. I'm the founder and CEO of DrutoLoan. DrutoLoan is basically a lending platform which connects Bangladeshi MSME entrepreneurs with the traditional banks, MFIs and MFIs. In DrutoLoan, what we're trying to do is we want to simplify MSME lending through technology. Bangladesh is a $500 billion economy, and it's growing at 6.9% per year. And by 2025, it will be around $550 billion. Out of which 25% of the total economy of the country is contributed from the MSME sector, and out of the total yearly industrial output, 40% comes from these MSME. 56% of the total employment of the country is directly or indirectly related to the MSME sector, and this whole sector is growing at 9% per year. In spite of all this, these 7.9 million MSMEs do not have access to finance because Bangladesh is one of the highest unbanked population in the world. They do not have the banking data, they do not have the financial data, there is a lack of financial knowledge. The lending process of these traditional banking systems are very complicated and bureaucratic, which consequently reveals that 95% of the MSMEs do not have access to formal financing, which has created a credit gap in the MSME sector of Bangladesh, worth of $2.8 billion. Here comes DrutoLoan. DrutoLoan basically acts as a bridge between the MSME entrepreneurs and the traditional financial institution. Through our website, our mobile applications, and our SME centers, an entrepreneur can apply for a loan, get verified, get loan, and after the loan is disbursed, can also repay their monthly installments. This is our team. Shaukat Hossain is our chairman, and he has more than 30 years of experience in MSME financing. He was the founding head of SME of Bragg Bank, one of the 5 founding members of Bragg Bank. And there is Vidyut Kumar Bosu. He is a director of, and also he is the CEO and executive director of Uddipon, the 5th largest MFI in Bangladesh. Then there is me. I'm Abdul Gaffar Sadi. I work with the execution department, and there are 2 of my co-founders. Ours Tushar Ahmed, who works with the operation, and there is Shahidul Islam, who looks after the lending department. Currently, we're operating in Dhaka only, and we have divided Dhaka into 4 zones. Mohammadpur, Mirpur, Badda and Uttara. Outside Dhaka there is Savar. Savar is one of the most promising MSME hub in Bangladesh. Yes, we are operating there for a year now. By the end of the last quarter of this year, we plan to move outside of Dhaka in the Tier 2 cities, where MSMEs have more impact on the local economy. Till now, we have disbursed 3,000 loans worth around almost $1.4 million, and the total savings deposit that we have collected and the MSME entrepreneurs have deposited through us is around 750k. Till now, our default rate is 0. So we are providing services to major actors here. First is the financial institutions. For a bank or NBFI or an MFI, it is not possible to provide small loans because that's not economically feasible for them. The lending procedure for a 100k loan and $1,000 loan is the same. But the cost is almost the same in case of the unsecured loans. But what happens is these MSME entrepreneurs don't go to the bank due to their lack of knowledge. They don't feel confident. From our experience in fields, what we have learned is that at banks and NBFIs and MFIs have a very rigid way of credit assessment. So that's why these MSMEs do not have access to financing from them. That is one of the main reasons they do not go to the bank. So what we do is we make these MSMEs loan ready, and then we forward their loan application to the bank. That's why we charge these MSMEs as well. So our revenue model is basically comes from two sides, and that is we charge bank for services that we provide to them, and we charge MSMEs for the services we provide to them. Through our website, normally they can go to apply now button, and they simply just answer 3 to 5 questions, and our representative will contact them, and if he is initially eligible, we will work with his loan. From our app, they can track what are the transactions, and his next installments, is how much is due, what's overdue, what's his fine, and everything. So this is our platform where the banks and NBFIs can make seamless real-time decision making through our credit scoring engine and also the loan application panel. For a bank, what we do is we acquire customer, we make them loan ready, we verify all the documents, and we forward it to the FIs. Then FIs go to our panel and see these applications, and after he is eligible, and the loan is disbursed directly to the MSME entrepreneurs. And when the MSME entrepreneurs and also we help with the collection. These are small loans. Bank cannot afford to go to every customer and collect loans. So that's why we help the banks in terms of collection. We have one collection officer for every 100 live loans. Whole system is cashless. From loan disbursement to collection, everything is done through MFS and banking channels. But we have physical presence and to ensure that the repayments are on time. So around 20 to 30% of our customers are coming to our websites. They are going out to our check eligibility form, and they are applying, and we are getting connected to them. We have collaborated with different SaaS platforms to provide financial services to their customers. As we have started recently, we only 5 to 10% are coming from SaaS platforms. Direct market is what we started and what we plan to establish. That is our SME centers. We want to build 1,000 SME centers in the next couple of years all over Bangladesh, so that we can easily make a business loan available for all the MSME entrepreneurs outside Dhaka, especially in tier 2 cities. Then word of mouth is a very promising tool in our customer acquisition channels, and more than 40% comes through this, because whenever we are providing loan to one customer, as these shops are very close to each other, talk, and when they hear about our services, they show interest. And through our social media platforms, especially from Facebook, we run ads, and from there we get loan requests, and then our field team visits. If he is eligible, then forward the loan. So this is our service. We provide at location service. From our experience, what we saw is that the main problem is that most of these MSME entrepreneurs do not have an employee. They have to take care of their business. So multiple trips to the MSME, to the banks hampers their business. The average daily sales of the MSMEs are around 63.85 USD, and on an average, he has to make minimum 5 trips to to get a loan. And that's not also he can there is no surety that he will get a loan or not. We have seen that there is if owner of the shop is not at the shop, sales goes down by 60%. So on average, to apply for a loan on an MSME phase around 1.27 in USD of loss. Thank you very much. This is my presentation for today.
Sure. Thanks for running us through the deck, Sadi. So one of my questions, and a question that many people have asked me whenever I've told them about DrutoLoan is, firstly, it seems to us as people outside of Bangladesh that there are a lot of MFIs already in the country. We've heard of things. We've heard of Grameen Bank, right? So there are all these big MFIs. They are the banks. So the question is, why do they need DrutoLoan when they can just go find these MSMEs, find these entrepreneurs directly?
But first of all, there are more than 600 MFIs in Bangladesh, according to around hundreds of banks and NBFIs also. But other than few, most of them are not they do not have a good portfolio in SME lending. This is because banks are not very interested in providing these small loans, first of all, because this is not economically feasible for them. Because if you give a loan for let's say $100,000, the cost of the credit assessment is same as if you provide a loan for $1,000. So that's why they need us. And what we do is, if I could explain my operation. So first of all, an MSME apply for a loan to DrutoLoan, right? They show interest that they want and a $1,000 loan from a bank or NBFI or MFI. So what we do is we make them loan ready. These people do not have financial knowledge. They do not have knowledge about the banking system. They do not have any financial data. They do not have the data points that bank uses for credit assessment. Right? They do not have the banking statement, the financial data, right? So what we do is we prepare this for them, right? And although there is no 100% authenticity of this data, but we have that verification process where we go physically and verify all the sales data from his tally book, and we check all the purchase receipt. We have more than 115 data points we call alternative data points. So we prepare these MSMEs a way that bank cannot afford to do. So that's why banks and NBFIs are coming are very interested to work in DrutoLoan. As you know, we have already we are working with a bank, an NBFI and an MFI. And there are a few more in the pipelines. We are going slow, we are going steady. These FIs were here for a long time, right? But till there is 95% people, MSME entrepreneurs don't get loan from them. That's why they need DrutoLoan, because they cannot afford this operation that we do.
Okay, and then the other question was, you have a very strong team. You have one of the founding members of the Track Bank, you have someone from Motipon. Question is, will their presence impact other banks or other MFIs from wanting to work with DrutoLoan?
No, because we are a platform, because we were working with Motipon and we are working with LankaBangla Finance, the second largest NBFI in Bangladesh, and many other banks and NBFIs. They're showing interest, and soon, probably next month, we will sign with a few more. Right? We don't have that capacity, to serve them at this moment. That's why we are going slow. This will, never be a problem, because we are acting as a platform. Like when we get a loan request, what we do is we decide that this customer will be eligible for a bank or an NBFI or an MFI, right? We do a credit assessment and we see that if he is eligible or not, and if he is eligible for which kind of financial institutions. Then we also see that what will be will be beneficial for the customer. Like let's say if there are two banks and one bank is giving lower interest rate, and one bank is giving higher, then we will obviously forward this loan application to the bank with lower interest rate, right? So this will not be a problem. Rather, it will be a good thing because they will be in competition to provide better services.
You mentioned LankaBangla Finance. I just wanted to hear, because there is an article in the Dhaka Tribune about your partnership to promote MSME finance. Right? Can you tell us a little bit more about what does this partnership mean for DrutoLoan?
Okay, so LankaBangla Finance is second largest NBFI in Bangladesh, and they are solely focused on MSME lending, but most of their loans are above $10,000, right? But they want to work in ticket size lower than that, because there is a huge market there in the small cottage, micro and small enterprises. So they have collaborated with us, and what we do is find potential borrowers, MSME borrowers of this sort. We make them loan ready. We prepare all the document. We upload it in our platform, and they have an access to our lending panel, and they see this, and we do all the contact point verification and everything, right? So, and the documentation and whatever it needed to provide the loan. After that, they disburse directly to the borrower. No money comes to us. We do not work as a channel. They disburse directly to the borrower, and borrower also repays directly to LankaBangla Finance. But we will ensure that we will assist rather than ensure. We will assist in the collection as well. For 100 live loans, as I've mentioned before, for every 100 live loans, we have a collection officer who will be physically present to ensure that the customer is making payments on time. And this whole process is actually cashless, because LankaBangla will disburse directly to borrower's bank account, and borrower will repay to LankaBangla through MF. For that, LankaBangla will share a revenue with us, and also we'll charge some from the MSME.
Maybe you can share with us while Osman makes his notes. In terms of, earlier you mentioned two numbers, right? There was $680,000 of deposits. So this $680,000 of deposits, they are with your banking partners, right?
We started in 2019 and we didn't have any banking partners, but financial sector is very sensitive thing regarding the license and everything. We did is we took a cooperative license, right? And we started operating in a particular zone. A cooperative license gives you authority to collect deposits, saving deposits, and to lend in a particular zone. You cannot do outside that zone, right? So we took that license and we started collecting deposits and everything, and started giving small loans. Then we got an MFI license. We have an MFI license right now, and we can disburse anywhere in Bangladesh, and we can also collect loan from anywhere in Bangladesh, right? But after that, we decided, because we didn't have enough fund, because the demand was high and we didn't have enough fund to disburse, so we decided to co-lend with other banks and NBFIs as well. What we when we're taking deposits, it's for them and us as well. Some of the deposits are taken for our MFIs and our cooperatives. Some are taken for LankaBangla Finance and other banks as well.
Okay, I've got a few questions, but they're really just to take it right the way back, because there's a number of things which I just don't understand, and I think this is really why I'm called a clueless capitalist, right? You're saying you're partnering with banks. I get the idea that there's BRAC and there's Grameen Bank, they're all microfinance institutions. This is what they do, and therefore I don't understand what real particular problem you're addressing, right? If there's a BRAC bank that does microfinance, if there's a Grameen Bank that does microfinance, and you're telling me that these banks have got a problem in handling micro loans because it's the same cost to do $100,000 versus $100 loan. What I don't understand is then what have they been doing all this time, right? If they're a microfinance institution themselves and you're telling me they're not capable of doing that, I'm really beginning to wonder.
I'm not saying they're not. So I was not saying that they're not capable. It's just banks want to give bigger loans, right? And when we call MSME, there is also medium-sized entrepreneurs, right? So above 10 lakh taka, BDT 10 lakh, that is $10,000. Banks and NBFIs and MFIs are more interested in that. And when it's below $10,000, they are not very interested. Secondly, BRAC is a pioneer in SME lending in Bangladesh, of course. But in case of general MFIs, including BRAC, what they do is they provide microfinance to especially women's. Like they are not providing finance to businesses. Our target group is very different. BRAC Bank usually don't provide BRAC Bank or any MFI. Any MFI doesn't provide loan to these small shops. What they do is they create a small group of people, especially women, and they provide loan with every in every area, and they provide loan there. That's so there is a difference in the target group as well.
But maybe I'm still misunderstanding the problem statement. So now you're telling me that
small business is present there.
So now you're telling me that the real problem statement is micro loans to micro SMEs. Is that the problem statement?
Yeah.
Okay, then Grameen Bank will lend micro loans to individuals. BRAC Bank will lend to individuals but not to businesses. We've spoken to Hishabi as well, right? He was telling me that the reason why these small micro SMEs are not bankable is because they deliberately choose not to use the banks. They deliberately don't want to declare their income. They deliberately want to avoid paying tax. And so my question is how are you addressing that type of problem before you can even start to justify it? If the mindset is I don't want to declare my income, I don't want to give tax, and therefore how can I as a lender trust the data that's coming through that you've helped generate? Can you explain that?
I had different experience from the field. I've been working in the field for more than 4.5 years, and what we have seen is it's not that they do not want to pay the tax. It's more like the process is very complicated. It's not that they do not want to pay the tax. It's that they don't want to go to the tax offices, and they do not want to face the tax officers, because the main problem is that they have to go out of his shop to do these things. If these things were online, they wouldn't have any problem to pay the tax and deliberately state how much they are earning. And that's what we have seen. Well, the main problem that we are solving is that these MSME entrepreneurs are getting at location service. That means from applying to the loan to repayment of the loan. Yeah, right? So everything they are doing from their shop. So this is also the same problem that they are facing in case of taxation and everything. The process is very bureaucratic. The process is very complicated. Whenever they go to a tax officer, the tax officers say big words and they do not understand. They get scared. Why Bangladesh has one of the highest unbanked population in the world? The reason is not they don't want to go to the bank and let people know about their money. It's more like they don't feel confident to go to the bank. They do not have that time to go to the bank because most of these MSME entrepreneurs do not have employees, right? So everything that they do in their business, they have to do by themselves. That's the main problem. Whenever we go to an SME, go to our customers, they always share everything with us, even the liabilities that they have. In our credit scoring module, we have a liability summary, right? There we have seen that when they are taking loan from bank and NBFI, it is visible in the CIB. But when they are taking loans from MFI, it's not visible, but they are sharing those data with us, and we have to trust in the customers. This is the wisest set of people that I've ever seen in my life. These MSME entrepreneurs. What they think is the calculation that I've shown in my pitch deck. They are for a loan application, and which is they're not sure of that they will get a loan or not. They are making a loss of around $120. So it doesn't make sense for them because one day of operation will cost them around $60 to $70.
Let me just stop you there because I've got some other questions that are burning in my mind. BRAC Bank, Grameen Bank, let's pick those two examples, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're telling me it's not their target audience, but you're already telling me it's a big addressable market. Why aren't they thinking, hey, maybe we should go after this? We've got the capability, we've got the funding, we've got the finance, we already understand microfinance. Why don't we do it? Why do they need you to do this?
Because what we're doing is we are going with a phygital approach, right? That's what this lending this particular sector requires. We have
Sorry,
a lending
explain that. Phygital.
Yeah, phygital. Yeah. So
you need to explain that.
Some part of our operation is physical, and some part of our operation is digital. So whenever we are giving a lending panel to the banks and NBFIs, as they are getting very interested, right? Because they do not have to go out of their office to provide the loan. Don't have to go to the contact point verification. They don't have to go and see that those tali khata and everything. What we're doing is we are presenting that on their screen. So they are taking decisions of giving the loan from their offices, right? And that will save a lot of time for them, right? As well, and also the cost.
For who? For the MSME or the
for the banks. I'm talking about the banks, because they're getting all the data, all the information required on their screen. That's what they do not have at this moment, and that's why they do not provide loans to these small businesses. MSMEs don't know how to provide this data, how to arrange this data, how to talk to these bankers. So that's the gap we're filling. And so these things are digital, right? And also we have a physical team who goes and verifies the point or the shop and all his data that he's saying. We take guarantors and we are visiting guarantors' houses. We're doing all the contact point verifications and everything. And in case of collection as well, right? So without a physical presence, you cannot ensure the collection and rate. You cannot control the default rate. So we have a strong collection team. In lending, collection prowess is the key to success. So we have a collection team there. So that's why the banks are getting interested with us, that we have a physical approach to the thing as well as a digital approach. We're solving problems that they have to go to these shops, and it will cost them time and money as well. So they are seeing everything on their screen. At the same time, we are helping them in collection. We have a strong collection team. We have a physical presence. We're doing things which are required to do physically. So that's why banks are getting interested with us.
Again, because I don't understand this market, you're going to have to help me here, right? Because, you were talking earlier on about how you do all of this work and then the bank will lend the money to the micro SME. And you don't handle the cash because it's going straight to the bank account. So this is where I'm really getting confused. If the bank has already given the micro SME a bank account, you can start to begin to understand why some of what you're telling me doesn't make immediate sense. If the bank has already given the micro SME a bank account, they must already have some data about how this micro SME is handling cash, how it's transacting, and this problem statement about cash collection. Well, if they've got the bank account and they've already taken money, there must be a capability for cash collection from this bank already. I still don't understand the problem statement. The pieces don't seem to fit together. Can you explain any of that?
Yeah, if I give you an example, I think it will make sense. The banks are disbursing the loan directly to the borrower's bank account, right? So most of these MSMEs do not even have a bank account. More than 90% do not have a bank account. What we do is...
Because earlier on, you're telling me that this is how the bank lends the money. They give them a bank account, or they have a bank account. But now you're telling me they don't have a bank account.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is it? I don't understand.
Yeah. Please let me finish. You will understand. So most of these MSMEs do not have a bank account. So whenever they are coming to DrutoLoan, they are signing up in DrutoLoan, they will have a zero balance account in our partner bank. We are helping these MSMEs to get a loan account. The first thing that we're doing is bringing these MSMEs under the banking umbrella. We're opening a bank account for them. Why don't they have a bank account? Because they have to go to the bank and fill up those forms and everything. That's why they do not go to the bank and open a bank account. What we do is through our eKYC, with our partner banks, they will have a zero balance account automatically when they sign up for DrutoLoan. This is the problem I'm trying to they can disburse the loan because we are preparing the MSMEs to be eligible. Like they are disbursing the loan to the bank account, but the MSMEs do not have a bank account. We help them create a bank account for the first time in their life. So that was what we do. And there are like more hundreds of small things like this that we help the MSMEs with. The data that I'm talking about, they do not have any data. It's us who figures out how to bring those data, the documents. Like for an example, you need a trade license to get a loan, right? You need a trade license to get a loan. Most of these MSMEs do not have a trade license, more than 95% or 96%. What we do is we help them to get a trade license. We give them a checklist, you need these documents. They do not have these documents, okay, no problem. We will help you to get those documents. So that's what we do, right? Then they get ready. When we think, okay, he is ready to get a loan, we help them to get a loan. Then we forward now banks and
that begins to make sense.
That much time. Yeah, banks and investors will never spend this much time because he will give $1 million to one guy. He can do that. He doesn't have to go to 100 people to disburse $1 million, right? But a bank will never give this much effort and time to these micro enterprises. That's why we started DrutoLoan.
Okay, got it. So just for the benefit of everybody watching and listening, this is the equivalent of, let's say, me or Razi, if we've taken out a mortgage, for example, right? When we try and swap the mortgage from one lender to another, we don't know what forms to fill in, but we go to a mortgage lender broker. They will then arrange all the paperwork. I don't know how to do a redemption with a loan in a bank, yet we all have mortgages, right? But we don't do those particular things really well, and we don't know how to do them. The mortgage broker does that. That's the equivalent I'm seeing here, where you have a capability, a knowledge base that's being applied for something that doesn't happen that often. Micro SMEs don't open up bank accounts every day. They don't know the process. They don't know the capability. They don't know what questions to answer and how to answer them correctly. This is what DrutoLoan is doing. They're simplifying that whole process, and that's what they mean by making something bankable, making a business bankable, meaning I'll get you your bank account open, I'll make you eligible for banking services, and I'll make you eligible to be able to take on a loan. It's very similar to where every one of us has a mortgage, but we don't apply for mortgages every day and we don't redeem them every day, but we do need to do mortgage refinancing, so we go to a mortgage broker. This is how I'm interpreting the DrutoLoan capability here.
Yes, and additionally,
go ahead.
And additionally, we do that, and additionally what we do is we also provide service to the banks, because the gap isn't only from the MSME. There are some limitations of the banks and MFIs as well. They do not have a field team. They do not have that time. They have to outsource this with DrutoLoan or with someone else, but they have to outsource this because they do not have those resources. We provide services to both. Like we are preparing the MSME entrepreneurs, as well as we are providing services to the banks.
I'm beginning to understand it now. The size of the market in Bangladesh is huge, and it's worth looking at. And so my next question really is going to be, well, me and Razi were talking to WeGrow, for example, a short time ago. We were comparing it to the equivalent that they've got in Indonesia. What was it called again, Razi, the company in Indonesia?
iGrow. It was called iGrow.
iGrow. So these guys were lending money to the farmers, and the default rate was through the roof. My question now is, you're claiming 0% default. How are you managing that?
First of all, we have disbursed a very small amount. It's like 1.4 million. It's not a large amount in terms of lending. That's why the default rate is it's a zero, and we plan to do it for the next 10 millions as well. But yeah, default rate will, someday there will be a default rate of let's say around 1%, but it will be less than 1%, I'm sure. Now what we do is, that's what I was telling, that we have a physical presence in the market, and that's why we are able to maintain the default rate at 0%. In lending, there is no fixed formula what we do. There are multiple things. I'll give few examples. Like we take two guarantors, right? We take two guarantors to secure it. They secured that loan. If the borrower is not paying, and we call the guarantors and ask them, then you have to pay the money if he doesn't by today. So the guarantor puts a social pressure on them, right? For every 100 live loans, we have a collection officer. So whenever my collection officer is going and he's saying that by today I cannot pay my installment, please allow me to give it in the next week, we don't allow. I tell my collection officer, you cannot come back to the office without ensuring that payment. You stay there and you call for backup. Our field officers go there, our loan officers go there, and we have other teams as well, verification team and CRM team. They also go there, and these people are they do a lot of transaction daily. Customers are continuously coming to their shops. They will not waste that time with you for a very long term, and the ticket size is also very small. So the installments are like around $25 per week or $250 per month, right? So installments are also very small. So what they do is they arrange the money and they give it, because it is harming his reputation, right? And whenever we do that to one guy, and all these MSMEs are connected, right? They are very close to each other in terms of location, right? So other people see it and they think that we should always repay in terms of DrutoLoan. So collection is basically depends on the focus, how much pressure and focus you are putting on customers. And we have then if someone misses 3 collection, we send him a legal notice. Most of the FIs don't do that. Unless it's a bad debt, they do not send a legal notice. If someone misses 3 installments, we send a legal notice, right? So this is, as I was saying, there's no fixed formula. It depends on various situations, what to do, what to know. And so basically the collection prowess of my team matters here. They're working in the field for a long time. We have a training module. We have a way of training people, and so their expertise is what actually makes sure that the repayments are done on time.
Since Osman brought up iGrow, right? How does DrutoLoan compare with similar players in the region, in India or in Pakistan? Is there something similar?
Yeah, so lending card is, I'm a big fan of lending card. Harshvardhan Lune is the founder of lending card. Lending card does actually what we do. They provide a loan co-lending with 8 other banks and NBFIs. They have more than around I think 20 to 25 lending partners, and they co-lend with those partners. But they also have an NBFC license. So they also lend money by themselves. DrutoLoan does the same. DrutoLoan has an MFI license, and so DrutoLoan can also lend money through that license.
So you don't actually need like any one of these banking partners. If DrutoLoan wants, you can offer a loan.
If we have enough fund, but arranging this fund is also it's very tough and takes a lot of effort. I want to focus on MSME lending. So if I can partner with these banks and get a fund from them, that's why I don't focus much on deposits and other things.
So with the $1.4 million that you have disbursed, right? What's your margin? Like how much have you made?
We calculate this way that out of the total disbursement, and we get a revenue of around 5%, including the deposits and everything, right? So the total disbursement is around 1.4 million. We had like around a 5% margin from there.
And the banks, like you mentioned, it's a platform. I remember you showed us a screenshot of this seamless decision making for the bank or the MFI, right? So to access this platform, do I have to pay a monthly subscription to DrutoLoan?
No, the platform is free. We are charging for the services in total. We're charging for every successful disbursement only.
So then my question is, so we've got Breck, one of the founders of Breck. You've got the CEO of DrutoLoan. You have the partnership, the second largest MFI in Bangladesh. What's holding you back from getting the success that you want to bring DrutoLoan to? What's stopping you?
Actually, we wanted to learn from the field. That's why we waited for around 4 years and kept a very low profile. We worked only in the field and learned those things. And now we are raising funds, right, to expand. What I have mentioned before, we want to create small SME centers. Like we want to establish more than 1,000 SME centers in the next 2 years. We need fund for that. That's why I'm also raising fund this moment. I recently closed the age of closing my round, my pre-seed round. We have bootstrapped for 4 years and 4.5 years.
How much are you raising for your pre-seed?
Around 250K. I have confirmed around 200K, and there's a soft promise as well about 25 to 50K. So I think we'll close at $250,000.
And one thing you've not mentioned to us, right, is like, where do you want to bring this? What does an exit look like, right? So are you like in 3 to 5 years, are you looking to bring this up to a certain level and then you want to get acquired by maybe one of your banking partners? What's the goal with this, and what is a possible return for someone who comes in at this point of time? So there are 2 questions in there. Let's start with the first one. Your goal with this, like how big is this? How big can this become?
So I'm already getting offers from banks to work with them exclusively, like and also I'm getting offers to get acquired as well. But what I think is, DrutoLoan should always be a platform. It should never, lend money of its own. It should not work for one bank only. It should always be a platform where people will be, people will have the freedom to lend as well as to borrow from wherever they want. And it will make it big, because from my learning, what I've seen that if you force the customer or if you force a particular actor in your ecosystem, then the ecosystem doesn't work. So that's why I'm not I think I will obviously there will be an exit, but I think getting acquired by any financial institution won't be very beneficial for DrutoLoan. Because they will then want DrutoLoan to work, exclusively with them, and that will close many more opportunity. And by
what kind of valuation do you think you'll exit at?
But what I want to do is, I want to go to. I know it will be probably will be the first in Bangladesh if whatever I'm saying that, but I want to go at IPO and everything. So I think I wanted to, build at least $1 billion valuation. I don't want to take exit before that.
Very nice. I think this is the first time I'm hearing $1 billion valuation on the Clueless Capitalist. Rasman, like someone who has the $1 billion valuation in mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked a long time ago with the founder of Swap, and I think he was talking about wanting to become a unicorn as well. And so yeah, but we've not had somebody openly say $1 billion. We do know that there are companies like ShopUp, for example, that are doing $1 billion in GMV, well in excess of that. We know that PrioShop are trying to head towards that target value. The capability of achieving $1 billion within Bangladesh is actually very real. But I think you're the first founder to actually state quite clearly $1 billion.
I like it. How big is the team right now, Sadi? How big is your team? How much are you burning per month?
I I've brought a change in my revenue model, by as I've shared with you earlier. What we used to do is we used to take our charges along with the installments, like so there was a lot of unrealized revenue. But we have recently changed the revenue model. We take the money upfront after approval of the loan and before disbursement. So that's why we don't have any cash burn at this moment. We are cash flow positive, and we have 30 people in our team, including us. Like it's a 30 people team. Most of them are working in field. Few are in the CRM department, the credit risk department. Few are in the tech department. But most of these 30 people are working on the field.
And Ajay, you mentioned Mr. Bityut and one more gentleman. Are they your advisors? Are they the advisors, or are they also part of the business?
They are part of the business. They are part of the business. They are in the board. But normally they are not, they are not active in the daily operations. But yeah, in case of strategy and everything and availability, they are very active.
So you share your credit scoring model with us.
Yeah. So basically, our whole credit scoring model is divided into three parts. First of all, the data points, and these data points are divided into three categories: the financial discipline, business performance, and compliance. They get a score. There are around 120 data points within these three categories. They get a score of 100 in total. There is a benchmark that they have to get minimum 40 to get a loan, minimum 50 to get a loan amount that they have asked, and if they are getting more than 80, then we offer them a higher amount. Other than that, we scored 6 ratios like profit ratio, current ratio, DBR. Then there is interest coverage ratio, there is current ratio, and liquidity ratio. Right? Out of these ratios, there are score comes depending on these data points. Now these data points have 3 different categories, right? Financial discipline, business performance, compliance, and there are 6 credit ratios. All together ends up giving 5 characters of a borrower. His 5 attributes of a borrower. First is character, then capacity, his capital, his collateral, and his condition. So this is how we do the credit scoring. Internally there are many more calculations. This is the outlook what banks and NBFIs sees and they like. That because this is their language. These credit ratios, the 5 C's, and this financial discipline, this compliance and business performance. So we create that visual of the credit scoring in a way that the bankers understand easily and feels comfortable with. Even the platform for the bankers is also the same that they are used to in their daily operations in the banks. So we have designed the platform that way. So the credit scoring method is also that way.
Thank you, Sadi, for sharing about DrutoLoan and what you're building in Bangladesh. I mean, what you're doing is it is definitely a very big market and a very big opportunity. So if you're looking to join this $1 billion opportunity, do get in touch with Sadi. And if you enjoyed the episode, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you very much, Bhai, for having me. Really appreciate it.